We all find ourselves trapped in a glass box, surrounded by barriers and obstacles. We can see what we want the outcome to be on the other side, and in most cases, we know exactly what we need to do to get there, but we fear breaking the glass because we fear the mess it's going to make. And I hate to be the one to break it to you, it's messy getting out of the box. Well, welcome to Shadow the Glass Podcast. I'm your host, Steffany Rossi. Hey, I'm Steffany Rossi. Welcome to Shadow the Glass Podcast. I feel like burnout is a word that gets thrown around so much in today's, culture. And there's different stages of burnout, obviously. And I was to the point where I didn't realize how burnt out I was until I was beyond being able to recover in the environment I was in. I didn't even know where to begin the road to recovery from burnout. I was lost and I knew I needed to make a change. I just didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to do it. And I knew I needed to make a decision to either stay where I was and try to recover there in an environment that was not conducive for that recovery, or, which obviously that would have taken more time, or to change my environment. And I was stuck between this for several months because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't want to leave where I was because I had poured my heart and soul into that. And I didn't want to lose a piece of me when I left. And I think that is something really important to look back on now is I did lose that piece of myself, but I needed to lose that to get to the next step of where I'm at now. My friend texted us in October of 2022 and said, do you guys want to go skydiving for my birthday? And I'm like, absolutely. Did I really want to skydive? Probably not. I was absolutely terrified, but I was going to do it because I wanted to prove to myself that I could overcome hard things and that if I could skydive, then I could leave the environment I was in. And, I don't think any of us actually thought we were seriously going to skydive. I think we actually booked the plane ticket 2 days before we were going. And sure, we still did it when we got there. The plane can only take two people up at a time. So there was three of us. So I took the short straw and I said, okay, I will go skydiving by myself first, as long as I go first. You guys aren't going first. I have to. So I did. And, when you go skydiving, the instructions are only about 5 minutes and, they latch you and the guy, you guys go up and the plane's very small. I was sitting next to the pilot and it takes about 15 minutes to get up to where we needed to go. And let me tell you, that was probably the longest 15 minutes of my life. Because I was thinking about, what I wanted to do after I went skydiving and like jumping out of the plane. I was thinking about it, but I wasn't thinking about it, I think, as much as I thought I was going to. I was thinking about all of the people that I was going to affect if I left where I was. I was thinking about, really what could my life look like? And it was really hard for me to picture anything, if I'm going to be really honest. I couldn't see the other side. Like, there wasn't another side. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know, financially what that was going to look like if I left a salary to a commission only. And that was another, really big piece of, the decision of it was, leaving this salary that I thought I always wanted to going back to being commission only. And, jumping out of that plane, I knew was going to be a difficult decision. And like, they don't give you much time to think about it when you're up there either. Your little feet are on the edge and they say, okay, 1, 2. And then before you know it, you're already out and you're just free falling. And the feeling of free falling, I wish I could bottle it up and like keep it because it was probably the most exhilarating, probably only 10 seconds of my life, but it felt longer up there and it was exhilarating and I wanted to feel more of the adrenaline and I knew that I would not get the adrenaline feeling where I currently was. So once the parachute came on, that was the boring part, and everything slowed down. You landed, you were good to go. The whole thing probably only took less than 30 minutes. And, after I was reflecting back on it, the region beta paradox, we're one decision away from exactly what we want. And it still took me, I think, over a month after I went skydiving to truly understand that I needed to resign. So before I resigned, I I felt empty and I was uncomfortable and I didn't know what to anticipate next. I knew where I was going next, but I didn't know what that again was going to look like. Going from a salary to commission, I knew I was going to have to work harder than I was working, and that made me nervous. And all I kept reminding myself though was you want to feel excited again. And that's what the free falling gave me was the excitement. And I wasn't excited about what I was doing anymore. And I knew I needed to get that back. And the only way to get that back was to change my environment. After my resignation, I stayed on to help until they trained someone. So I still felt trapped and I was excited for what was on the other side. But again, I still couldn't see what was on the other side. And it was at the point where I was almost there and I was so excited. And I was going to take a quick break and then I was going to get down to business, coming back from a trip. And when I resigned, the burnout didn't obviously just magically disappear, by the way. And I knew that was something also that I was going to have to figure out how to manage and how to reevaluate my life. And I think it was really important that I still had a coach in my life that was helping me. And I also decided that it was time to take a quick little vacation before coming back and really resetting my life. So that's what I did. I took a small vacation. And we're going to talk more about that in the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on all social media channels and stay tuned for next week's episode all about boundaries.